Today's deep dive centres around coaches v journos at media conferences or at training, off the back of Adam Simpson having a crack at, what's Woodcock's first name?
Mitchell Woodcock.
Mitchell Woodcock, and he got cheered for having a crack at Mitchell Woodcock, and then the West Australian went at Simo the next day, even after he'd been fired. But here is Adam and Mitchell Woodcock.
Is there a moment that made you realise that you feel like it's time to move on?
Probably your 300th article. Woodcock. And you guys can be cruel sometimes, really. I mean, you got to keep that in check, because we're human and we have families. So you want more access to our players, treat them with a bit more respect would be a good start.
One of the scariest coaches in the game was Mick Malthouse, so we've put a compilation of the best of Mick Malthouse against some journos.
Do you think your boys came to play today?
I reckon they probably come here thinking, no, we're going to have a real bad one today in the first quarter. What do you honestly think? That term, come to play, where does it originate from, and what do they reckon? They come to play marbles or football, or do you think they didn't come to play? Do you think they sat in their cars waiting for the game to start, then go out there?
Last one, guys. You've been around a long time, Mick. Just the week you've had, was it a tough one leading in?
They're all tough.
Any regrets at all about what happened?
Sorry, do I need to go to confession or something?
Last question.
Or I murdered someone?
No, not at all. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mick.
We're still bemused and disappointed that we don't know exactly some of the things that are going on out there. But having said that, the boys had a go.
What do you mean? What are you bemused at?
What would you think I mean, Richard? What would you really think I mean? So we're going to lose our captain now with a facial break from to the head. That's only one incident where we didn't get a free kick. But we just like to think that we get have an even playing field.
Thanks for your time.
There's a Mick Malthouse moment that wasn't captured on camera too, Lotto, with a good mate of mine, Daryl Timms, out at Waverley one year when he was coach at West Coast. He put him up against the wall, and Timsy still trembles with fear over it. So that's my version anyway. Alistair Clarkson's another one who's had a few run-ins, and I think in some ways you haven't qualified in media unless you've been on the receiving end of a Clarko spray.
I'm up in there and say, geez, they're undisciplined, Hawthorn. What a load of crap. Done. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Might put that in a nice little column tomorrow.
What's that, mate?
Bando. Nice little column of bullshit you write on a Monday.
What's that, Alan?
Your Bando.
No worries, pal. See how they...
You're asking some foolish questions, Matt, and I don't even want to respond to it, to be fair.
Thank you, Alison.
Clarko.
Babyface in that first one. This one is probably my favourite, Laura. You played on each other a little bit, fullback of the century. Not sure you quite made that side, but Stephen Silvani had a bit of a go at you here.
He did. Let's take a look.
It was a big-time decision to come in and face the music tonight, particularly given a little bit of history, ups and downs along the way with both Matthew.
We might see your brother on here one day.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. I'm sure, you know what, Toss? You know what? In Perth, he cops it just as hard. That's what you got to understand. So it's not personal.
No, it's not personal, but I think
and this man here put up his recruits too.
But there are plenty of conflicts in footy, aren't there?
Yeah. Thanks for coming in.
Sure, you've got plenty yourself.
Yeah.
Just had the last word, didn't you, Laura?
I'd written an article about his recruiting, and so that was where...
Small desk back then, too.
It was small, more intense, very intimate, wasn't it? And it was very intimate when Luke Beveridge came on Footy Classified and had it out with our man Damo, as he also did with Tom Morris many years later.
You rang me before the football show, the night that you and Liam Pickering came on.
Yeah, I did that.
And publicly had a shot at me.
Publicly had a shot at you by quoting Liam Pickering saying that you refused to speak to his player.
It was going to do no one any good for me and Michael to speak afterwards because of the emotion involved.
No, I gave you the heads up that I was going to speak to Liam Pickering.
Why did you do that?
Well, I go to both sides of every story.
If journalists ring me, I don't ring them back to talk to them because I've got things going on in my life that if you want to talk to me, you talk to Dennis Picer. So
Well, I can't talk to the coach who won't speak to a player, and the coach is making accusations about the player. And I've then got on record and on camera the manager of that player saying that you won't speak to him and have already ruled against him.
It's got nothing to do with you.
Of course it hasn't, but I've got a job to do. Yeah. So I try and get both sides, which is the reason I made that phone call to you on that night.
But why did you call me?
Because you're the coach of the footy club making these allegations against your player.
Call me direct. They go through the football club.
I speak to a lot of coaches, Luke.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
Well, I roll a little bit differently, mate.
I understand that.
Yeah. You've got the nerve to ask me a question and even be here. So you've been preying on us the last 2 times. You barracked for Melbourne, Tom Morris. It's the team you barracked for. Your conflict of interest here is considerable. You're not welcome.
No, this is the AFL's press conference and I'll sit here.
It's
the
what,
AFL's press conference.
Yeah, OK. Well, I think you've got enough, boys and girls. You're an embarrassment to what you do, mate. You're an embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment. Disagree? You won't get many friends.
I'm tense sitting here watching him.
I tell you what, he looked tougher with the moustache, didn't he? The handlebar.
Yeah. I think we'll give Damo the points on the first one.
Yeah.
I think
he rolls a bit different.
That was a clinical.
How do you feel watching that back?
We haven't seen it since that went to air. But Hutchie loved it, didn't he?
Oh, sitting there, I was thinking, how is this going to end? How are we going to get out of this interview? So,
well, that was after we had the
What
scuffle.
happened after?
Well, he got up and left. A bit different, I think, Clarko and Hutchie, one other interview on Footy Classified.
All right, well, Damien Hardwick's had his fair share of run-ins with the media as well.
There's a few players out there making comment, mainly I'm looking at David Swartz here. I played a grand final against that bloke and within 20 minutes of the game he was crying. So have a look at himself at some stage.
Comment from Kane Corn saying that there's no question that the Richmond guys had got ahead of themselves.
No, seriously, I'd love to see Kane. I'd really love to see Kane.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. That's his job.
Sure.
He's there to write comments.
Okay.
End of story. You're the media journalist, so you figure it out.
How does it impact the club, though?
Next question.
How does it impact the
Next
club?
question.
No,
Thanks, Tony.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on, mate. Give me a strap.
This
is good,
TJ. Yeah. And speaking of TJ, there's no bigger media personality than Eddie Maguire, and him and TJ went head-to-head.
And don't try and make a headline.
I'm not trying to make a headline, Eddie.
Right?
Anyway,
so, mate,
there'll be more.
Help,
there'll be more in
it,
Footy Classified
but they must
tonight.
Stick with their supporters, OK?
Righto, Eddie. Thank you for joining us.
With more on the weather. That was a smashing day, wasn't it? That was a smashing day, wasn't it?
Hey, Damo, I'm not sure why you're laughing because you at that Clarko presser, we've got some exclusive vision of you apparently wearing a kid's T-shirt.
What is that, Damo?
Oh, a pajama top, Damo.
It looks like Where's Wally? Look like Where's Wally?
Look like you in the bath. Kurt Cobain.
Anything like that.
It does look like that. Kurt Cobain T-shirt.
That's it, Brad.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it. That was a good edition of Lord O's Deep Dive. Well done, Lord O.